What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Backup Fantasy Sports. It is Thursday, December 14th. My name is Ewan, and on today's episode, we're going to get into some Fantasy Premier League with a Game Week 17 preview. That's right, Game Week 17 is already upon us. We are about halfway through this crazy fixture schedule for the Christmas holidays, and it is still wild. There are still tons of injuries, suspensions, everything to kind of take care of this game week. So we're going to get right into it here with the game week 17 preview. First off, just going to take a little bit of a look back here at how my team did last week. 61 points. I captained Haaland like a lot of people, and I got bailed out by Mo Salah, 26 points. I had Dubravka, Gabriel, Lascelles, Simicas, and Pau Torres was my auto sub off the bench for Erling Haaland. So I didn't play Pau Torres in midweek for game week 15 when he got the clean sheet versus Man City. And I was like, I don't want to do it against Arsenal either, but I put him on the bench, got auto subbed. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. My transfer was Mbeumo to Cole Palmer after Brian Mbeumo's injury he suffered midweek. So kind of same transfer that everyone else did. But after game week 15, I think I lost about 300,000 spots. And then this week I gained about another 300,000. So kind of just going back and forth between the 500K mark right now. Haven't made a huge jump yet, but with these upcoming deadlines, with Erling Haaland potentially not playing in game week 17, there is potential for movement here. Son Heung-min, also a hero with 17 points. Darwin and Evan Ferguson disappointing up front with 2. Moving on to the game week 17 fixtures here, we've got Nottingham Forest and Spurs on the Friday night kickoff. So make sure you are prepped for that there. Bournemouth, Luton, Chelsea, Sheffield United, Man City, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Fulham in the classic Saturday games. And then Burnley versus Everton on Saturday night. And on Sunday, we've got some European teams in action here with Arsenal versus Brighton, Brentford versus Aston Villa, West Ham versus Wolves. And the final game of the game week is Liverpool versus Man United, where it could get ugly for the Red Devils. This is possibly the biggest gap I can remember in a fixture between Liverpool and Man United, just on vibes, talent, just form in general. Man United have been doing all right in the league. They got smacked by Bournemouth last week, and then they've crashed out of the Champions League, whereas Liverpool keep finding ways to win, but you don't want to give Man United any leeway. So hopefully the Reds smash the Red Devils on Sunday afternoon. Game week 17, kind of fixture ticker here. Looking at the next 6 coming up fixtures for each team. So the best teams here are Chelsea, Luton, Brighton, West Ham, and Bournemouth, whereas the worst teams are Crystal Palace, Man City, Nottingham Forest, Brentford, and Newcastle. Man City and Brentford are down there because of their blanks. That's the only reason for that. Man City has pretty good fixtures outside of that blank: Crystal Palace, Everton, Sheffield United, Newcastle, and Burnley. West Ham is the team highlighted here. Wolves, Man United at home in the next 2, Arsenal on the road, Brighton at home, Sheffield United, and Bournemouth for the 5th and 6th fixtures here. But 3 of the next 4 at home for West Ham will be quite welcome, as they've got European commitments tonight, and they are still in the Carabao Cup as well. So lots of fixtures coming up for the Hammers, but they should avoid some travel fatigue with all these home games coming up. Chelsea's run is quite interesting for the next 6 game week. Sheffield United, Wolves, Crystal Palace, Luton, Fulham, and Liverpool. Luton, I'm not going to go there. Brighton, still so much rotation. 3 of the next 4 on the road. They still haven't kept a clean sheet this season. Bournemouth, though, with Dominic Solanke, who could be a very popular candidate to replace Erling Haaland in your lineups this week. Luton, Nottingham Forest, Fulham, Tottenham, Liverpool, and West Ham. Moving on here to the lock dates and the lock times for the next few game weeks. We are almost through this crazy fixture period, but we do have some strange dates coming up here. So we've got a Friday deadline this week, 6:30 UK time. Then the following Thursday, 6:30 UK time, December 21st. That's a Thursday lock date. I'm not sure I haven't gone through all of FPL history, but it seems to me that there hasn't been a lot of Thursday deadlines. So definitely don't get caught up by that. The following Tuesday after Christmas is another deadline at 11 a.m. UK time. And then Saturday, December 30th, there's another lock at 11 o'clock. And then Saturday is kind of low key, not, or January, there's only a couple of game weeks, so we don't have to worry about that too much. But yeah, still over the next 2 weeks here, there's going to be 4 game weeks. So definitely keep all of these lock dates in mind. Here is Lego underscore Mane or Lego Mane underscore FPL's fixture crunch tracker. As you can see, the left side, we are getting past that here. It's getting a lot better now. A lot of teams done with their European commitments. Liverpool have nothing to play for tonight, so they'll probably play a bunch of young guys, so we don't have to worry about them. Brighton, Aston Villa, West Ham all kind of have something to play for. I think Brighton and Aston Villa have actually qualified for the next round, but Brighton kind of want to finish top of the group, get to the last 16, where they will not meet Manchester United or Newcastle because they both crashed out of the Champions League in 4th place in their group. So they don't even drop down into the Europa League competition for February's round of 32, I believe. So yeah, Liverpool advanced to that round of 16. Brighton hoping to get there too. Aston Villa's advanced. I think West Ham have a couple of things to play for in their group as well. But as you can see, a lot more green on the right-hand side of this chart than the left, where there's a lot of red. Liverpool, Brighton, Aston Villa still have some red coming up with Man United on Sunday for Liverpool, then the Carabao Cup, then Arsenal. Pretty tough fixture coming up for Liverpool. So could see them drop a couple of points. Maybe they crash out the Carabao Cup. But we'll see what tonight's lineup looks like for the Reds when they face or when they finish off their Europa League play. Main story of the week is the injury to Erling Haaland. Pep Guardiola's latest update is that he will tell us at the next press conference how Erling Haaland is doing. He said that he might be able to play for Crystal Palace. They don't know. He didn't train with them all weekend, but he joined back up with the squad. Wasn't in the Champions League squad last night against their final group game as well. So here are kind of the replacements if you are going to get rid of Erling Haaland, which I'm not sure I am going to do that yet, because if there's a chance that Erling Haaland plays, even with a blank game week 18, it's kind of up in the air. So here are some of the replacements. Let's just get to it. Ollie Watkins, Darwin Nunez, Alexander Isaac, Julian Alvarez, and Dominic Solanke. Those are kind of the 5 main candidates, I would say. I think right off the bat, you can probably take out Alvarez because he has that blank in game week 18. I think next, Darwin, not really a fan of him. He didn't really do it for those 3 punty weeks that we had him for the last 7 days there. So I would like to get Darwin out of my team, but Erling Haaland has created a little bit of a problem there where pretty sure Darwin's going to start against Man United. He did score against them last year. So taking out a player who's going to play and keeping a player who's not potentially not going to play the next 2 game weeks doesn't make a lot of sense. Ollie Watkins, I don't have. Dominic Solanke, I don't have. Alexander Isaac, he didn't start last night's Champions League game against AC Milan. So he is likely to start against Fulham, but Fulham looking pretty feisty recently. And Newcastle they look dead on their feet right now. So not exactly enamored by the Magpies at the moment. So I think it's going to come down to Ollie Watkins and Dominic Solanke for me if I was going to transfer out Erling Haaland, which if we get any more confirmation from Pep or any kind of, he's not going to play Crystal Palace, we're going to rest him because I've got the Club World Cup coming up over the next couple of weeks as well. That would probably give me the go ahead to get rid of Haaland. And I think I would bring in Ollie Watkins because Ollie Watkins is going to be a long-term hold for me. I have the budget for whenever Haaland comes back to upgrade Darwin up to Haaland and kind of move into a 3-5-2 formation. Kind of had this dead Evan Ferguson spot. Try and take a punt on him with Brighton's up or when they had a good run of fixtures, but hasn't really worked out for me. So I'm going to keep him in there. If we get confirmation Haaland's not playing, I'll take Haaland out, I think, and I will just bring in I think I'm gonna bring in Ollie Watkins because that means I don't have to transfer out. Solanke is the puntier guy. He's cheaper, obviously, but Watkins with Brentford and Sheffield United at home, you kind of want that. You could go hokey cokey if you want. You could bring out if you don't have any other fires in the rest of your team. You don't have any flags. You don't have any suspensions. Which good job by you. That's very fortunate. You could go Solanke to Watkins, kind of booking in transfers. Try to play a little bit of a fixture run here. But I think if you're trying to limit your transfers, keep your options open. Just getting up to Watkins is the best kind of alternative there. If you already have Watkins, if you're a sensible manager and didn't take the punt on Darwin Nunez like some of us did, I would just go from Haaland to Solanke, have a bunch of money in the bank. If you have two free transfers, you could even go Haaland to Solanke and then upgrade one of your defenders all the way up to Trent or a midfielder up to like Martin Odegaard, who's playing quite well for Arsenal there. So I think for these five options here, I would rank them Watkins, Solanke, and my third option, I'd probably go Alvarez. Just the 1 week punt on Crystal Palace. Deal with the rotation later. You still got a Man City player that you have to take out. So, but with Haaland out of the squad, Alvarez would probably be the tip of the spear and get a lot of goal scoring opportunities. For captaincy, I put a lot of players on here, admittedly, and it's not that many options, but it just seemed like there were some attackable fixtures this weekend. If you're going to be a little bit different, Mo Salah is going to be the most popular guy here, 7.8 predicted points. Man United at home, they're 13th over the last 6 for expected goals conceded. Sung Min, Julian Alvarez, Dominic Solanke, Cole Palmer, Bukayo Saka, all kind of middling options. Didn't put Erling Haaland on here because we don't even have confirmation that he's going to play. I think Mo Salah is going to be the most popular captain by far. You could even just put the captaincy on Haaland in case he starts against Crystal Palace, and then vice captain Mo if you want, and kind of play it like we did last week, where we got bailed out by Mo Salah's 13 points against Crystal Palace. But Salah loves scoring against Man United. He loves scoring against Man United at home in Anfield. Anfield's going to be up to 57,000 screaming Reds this weekend if they unveil a new part of their stadium. So it's going to be quite a cauldron in Liverpool this weekend. And Man United just bad vibes. No Bruno Fernandes. Is Eric Ten Hag on the outs? Yeah, it does seem like a prime position for Salah to kind of bag a double-digit return and bring home some mega captaincy points this weekend. So my captaincy is going to be on Salah. If you want to kind of chance it with Haaland, just for kicks, sure, but I don't think I take that risk. Salah's probably going to play all 90 minutes. He's not going to play in Europe tonight, I would assume, unless it's like a 10-minute cameo. So Man United at home, 13th for expected goals conceded over the last 6. Solanke is maybe the one punt I would consider here. 5.9 predicted points. Luton at home, who are second worst for expected goals conceded over the last 6. Sung Min, Friday night. Don't really love that. Alvarez, we'll see. Palmer, you'd be relying on penalties there. And Bukayo Saka, Brighton have actually been pretty good for expected goals conceded over the last 6, despite no clean sheets. So that's kind of where my head's at. So Salah, number 1. Then maybe Solanke as a punt. But yeah, the other option could be Haaland as your captain, Salah as your vice captain, just in case you want to cover yourself, in case Haaland makes a surprise appearance, scores a hat trick, and we're all in the absolute mud. Here is my team as it's lined up right now, going with a 4-4-2 formation with my current squad. Might not be this way come the deadline, but FPL reviews got me at 60.6 points. Scouts got me at 56.9 and Fantasy Football Hub 58.8. So not great there, but Dubravka, Lascelles, Simicas, Gabriel, Pau Torres at the back, Sung Min, Cole Palmer, Bukayo Saka, and Mohamed Salah as captaincy in the midfield. Evan Ferguson and Darwin Nunez up front, Erling Haaland and Charlie Taylor and Chuk on the bench with Areola also flagged there. So everyone on my bench is actually flagged. Areola with his wrist injury, Erling Haaland with his foot injury, Charlie Taylor suspended, and Chuk is just out for Chelsea right now. Fantasy or FPL reviews 3 options for my team this week. So this might give you guys a Pretty good idea for you. They're actually suggesting Ferguson to Watkins or Ferguson to Solanke or just roll. Really tough time selling myself on taking out a player who's probably going to start in Evan Ferguson when Haaland is potentially not going to start the next 2 game weeks. Just doesn't feel right. So I'm thinking this will be I'm using this as a ranking from FPL review on who I should bring in for Haaland if he sits. So it would be Watkins, then Solanke. Like I said, the no transfer option was interesting. Roll just in case Haaland plays, but not having Watkins or Solanke for those 2 attackable fixtures feels like a mistake, feels like a missed opportunity to kind of get some points in. The 4th option here was actually to go from Lascelles to Colwell, and then from Chook all the way up to who was it? Anthony Gordon. So that was kind of interesting. But Gordon came off last night in the Champions League, potentially with a niggle in his hamstring, because Newcastle were up 1-0 when he came off. So they needed him, and it did not go well as Newcastle crashed out of the Champions League and Europe altogether. But still a pretty good performance from the Magpies in their first taste of European action in quite a few years. FF Hub here has me selling Ferguson for Watkins as well. And then the second option here is like the other option on FPL review, selling Chook for Gordon. Not sure if I love that second option there. Ferguson to Watkins, I can get behind that. I can see the logic in that, just keeping Haaland for the next 2 game weeks, which is an option. And then having Darwin, Watkins, and Haaland up front. I haven't really thought about that all that much. Might have to do some more tinkering with my squad over the next 48-ish hours, 36-ish hours here. As we are on Thursday, deadline is on Friday. But if you liked today's video, if you could like and subscribe to the channel, you can follow me on X and Instagram and TikTok now at UNFPL. I've changed my handle, trying to slim it down a little bit, make it simpler to be found on those platforms. On TikTok, I'm actually releasing instant reactions after every game week, and then rankings for each position before the game week starts. So check those out on there if you want to see some more short form FPL content. And yeah, like and subscribe to this channel here so you get my full length videos whenever those come out each week. But hopefully game week 17 goes well for you guys. Hopefully it's we get some clarity from Erling Haaland and Pep Guardiola about what's going to happen this weekend. But keep those options open. There's probably going to be some price rises tonight. If you can eat them, I think I would just take it on the chin to get some more information from the press conferences and just leave your options open and have your best kind of keep everything open. That way you can be more flexible come the deadline tomorrow night, especially with all these deadlines coming up over the next 14-ish days. But once again, thanks for listening. Good luck in game week 17, and I will talk to you next time.